Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. I want to make a little video about what is going on in the European Union in terms of debt and retirement and a conflict that is brewing between the northern nations and the southern ones. Now, I've been making a lot of videos about that. It is, of course, the long-term goal of France to somehow get their hands on the tax payments of the German worker. That is what they've been doing for centuries, one might say. But now they want to accomplish this via the European Union. And it seems like with many other things also, it has been the case. This year, they finally succeeded by using the pandemic scare in order to just complete or in order to fulfill their wildest dreams that they had for a very long time already. What I'm talking about is, of course, that this time, for the first time officially, the European Union is, going into debt. They are going to borrow money from the financial markets together, which just means that the financially solid northern nations, like the Netherlands, Sweden, to some degree, but by its size, of course, for the most part, Germany, they are vouching for the debt of southern nations. And that has always been their goal, and this is what the northern nations always resisted. And actually, it goes as far as that the Germans only agreed to the euro because this scenario was always decisively excluded. They said, this will never happen. I give you my word on my mother's grave, what have you, right? This will never happen. No nation will ever have to vouch for the debt of another European nation. They are financially independent, That is what was always the official line, so that Germans would agree. And not only Germans, I think the Dutch, for example, also, right? And yeah, the British are no longer with us now. So that means that the northern states are the ones that are fiscally, I would say, a little more, well, it's always a weak comparison, yeah, but by comparison, they are a little more, um, yeah, a little more solid, or a little more, how should I say, responsible. Okay, so the numbers are coarsely, very roughly as follows, right? When it comes to retirement alone, the workers in the north, they, on average, they get much less years of retirement than the countries in the south. Yeah? And if you take the Netherlands and Sweden and Germany on one side, and then Spain, France, and Italy on the other, there is a sizable difference of many, many years. Yeah? So 21 versus 18, for example. And I don't know why in Sweden they get so little. Maybe it's a combination of their late entry into retirement age and an early demise, because life must be so hard and stressful in socialist Scandinavia. No kidding. Kidding aside, now I think just life expectancy in these Mediterranean climates is longer generally than in more harsher northern climates. It might have to do with the climate, with the weather, or with other factors, like maybe they're a little more relaxed or eat better or healthier. I don't know. No idea. Maybe alcohol plays a role. It could be many things. But the fact remains that in the north, they work longer, and they enter retirement later, and they die sooner. Yeah? But this is not the whole story. It goes even further. The amount, or the sum of the retirement benefits, or the payments that you get then in relation to the wages that you had before, are much higher in the south. So, and this is reflected in the budget. So a much higher piece of the cake, a much higher fraction of the state budget is dedicated to retirement payments in the south as compared to the north. And we see now what was, unavoidable, I would say. And during those discussions of whether or not we should allow this because of this bad pandemic, and we must stand together in solidarity to help our weaker countries to deal with this crisis, blah, blah, blah. This is the usual sermon that you hear all the time. Anyway, it came like, I mean, of course, it's unavoidable. Yeah, they said, "Oh, yeah, we will use this money in order to combat this crisis, and we will use it for education and for research and for health and for this and that and the other." No, they're using it for to just boost the retirement payments for a couple more years. And when this runs dry, and when they still haven't reformed their retirement system, they will engineer a new crisis, and then the northern states have to pay again. Yeah. So I think that this is a precedent that has been set, and it's a very, very dangerous one, because it leads to a situation where on the European continent, the northern states will not only temporarily but indefinitely support the workers and the retirement system, the social welfare system, I would say, in southern European states. And the situation is as follows. Yeah, we work in the north, we work harder, we work longer, we get less payment, we enter retirement by age 70. Right now it stands at 67 in Germany, and it's only a matter of time before it is 75. Because I read articles that this is already in the pipeline. This is already, these plans are already being openly discussed, and soon they will be made law. Germans will have to work until 70 or 75 if they want to see one single penny of all their retirement payments that they made in the tens of thousands of euros, or even more, hundreds of thousands of euros during their productive life. And this is money that they don't have for their private, personal retirement preparation, right? This is money that is directly taken out of your paycheck. You will never see this money. Your employer has to pay it, but you never get to see it. It directly goes into the bank accounts of retired people. It's a generational system. And this is money that is missing for our people to invest, for example, in the stock market, precious metals, bonds, mutual funds, whatever, however you want to. In America, they call it 401k or something like that, or Roth, and here in Germany we have Riester, and there are different names for it. But you can do it with a government-supported model. You can do it completely as a privateer, just buy stocks or something, right? And then convert them to dividend stocks once you are entering the retired stage of your life. But this money is missing. Yeah, and we're pumping this money to the south, where they retire very early, many years earlier. Yeah, maybe 60. I did the numbers once. I don't know if they're still up to date, but they should be, because they don't reform their system anyway. So many years earlier compared to us in the north, they retire. And they live longer, so they get a lot of money. And not only do they get the money longer, I said already, they also get much higher pensions, much higher retirement benefits compared to their wages, as we do in the north. And yeah, so the logic that holds true within Germany, that federal states that are stronger economically, such as Bavaria or Hessen or Baden-Württemberg, they are supporting very, very weak states, such as Berlin, or such as, well, any other country, I would say. Yeah? I think Hamburg, Hessen, Bayern, and Baden-Württemberg, those are the states that are paying. Maybe Saxony, I don't know. But most of the states in Germany are receiving. There is this federal redistribution payment system, so that more successful or more economically strong states are supporting the weaker ones. And this logic has now been extended to the whole European continent. And it has been done so through the back door. So there wasn't even a big debate because it is a pandemic issue. It's a pandemic related issue. So it has to be done fast and without bureaucracy, right? And cut through the red tape, get them the help they need fast. Yeah. So you just have to engineer and to hype up some kind of a crisis, and you can get past whatever you want to get past. Even though for decades before you were saying like a mantra, you were repeating, no, states within the European Union will never be responsible for the debt of other states in the Euro. That's all. That's all yesterday's talk. I mean, now we have a pandemic, and now Spain and Italy and France, they can go into debt, and Germany needs to vouch for it. So if they cannot pay back their debt, guess what? The German taxpayer has to. Yeah? Very nice. So this is what's going on in the European Union right now. So if, for example, you live in an area of the world where they are thinking about creating such a supranational construction, yeah, if I were you, I would do everything I can to oppose this idea. But, maybe the risk of that is very low because even without my videos, the world can see very clearly, I guess, that the European Union is a nightmare. And yes, life in Europe is still pretty good, but that is not because of the European Union. That's in spite of the European Union, because Europeans are just awesome people, generally speaking. And it just the question is, how long do these bureaucrats in Brussels, how long does it take for them to absolutely wreck our continent and turn it into a failed supra-state like the Soviet Union was? All right, that's my report on this topic. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Servus, Kameraden.